Hello, my name is Craig and welcome back to the three people who watch all my videos, and welcome to anyone else who just happens to be here, maybe taking some shelter from the weather. And if you notice a different thumbnail, you'll have to find out about that later in the video. Okay, we're up to doing the fretboards. I'll do a few at a time. I have a couple of guitars that need fretboards at the moment. These are Indian ebony, quite thick. It's 11 millimeters. So I bring them down to about 6.5, between 6 and 6.5, but generally about 6.5. So I'll do that on the drum sander, and we'll see what we've got after we've finished here. Okay, it took a little while, not for you, but for me. Ebony is a little bit a pretty hard wood, and it takes a while to sand it down. So we're up to about 6.5 now. .4. These are, I think, well, I bought them a long time ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I bought about 30 of these, and I think they were, some of them were A grade and some of them were B grade. I think these might be B grade, because you can see on this one there's some of that light colouring coming through just around there. This one not quite as much. I think the A grades were supposed to be completely black, and the B grades with a little bit of streaking of the lighter colouring, which I don't mind. I actually like the lighter colouring. It adds a little bit of character to the fretboard. So they're not B grade because they're no good, just the colouring that is being looked at. So we've got a fretboard. Which one will we pick for Spooky? I'll take this one, I think, the one with a little bit more character in it. Spooky, I've take this out for the moment. I have routed in some slots for these carbon fibre rods. The ones I use, these type ones are, I don't know if you can see that, but they're actually they're hollow, but they're square. They're 4mm square. I've tried a few different sizes. These work pretty well for me, I think. When you use them, you find that you don't have to use them on all wood, but some woods they'll tend to be, when you string the guitar up, if it's not a very stable mahogany that you're using, it might find that you have a very large relief in your guitar when you string it up. So to get around that, for all of them, I've just been using this, and it's worked quite well. Just put on one on either side of the, and yeah, I haven't stuck them in yet. I'll do that later, but we'll just have a look at this one there. Plenty long enough. When you put in your, if you're going to use carbon fibre support, make sure that when you, I don't know if I can get a good angle on this on the camera, make sure that when you put a set square on there, that it goes fully across. There are no gaps all the way up there. You don't want to have the carbon rod sticking above the board itself. So if you do, you're going to find that you'll have to, when you're doing some sanding, etc., or whatever, it's going to be a problem, because you're going to have to sand it down nice and flat anyway when you put the fretboard on, and that can be a real problem if you start to sand away some of the walls, because it's standing proud above the rest of those things. So as I said, make sure it's nice and flat there, and which that one is, there's no gaps around those rods. Probably the easiest way of cutting out the fretboard is to get one that's already at the right dimensions and mark it out and cut it out on the bandsaw. Make sure it's slightly larger than the original, because you've got to get any rough edges out. But bring it down to about 44.5, which I think is 1 3/4 inches. I ended up cutting out 6 fretboards at this time. I had 5 other guitars I realised needed fretboards, not 2. It's easy to do it when you've got the equipment out. Make sure we don't go over or less than 44.5 millimeters. Okay, we're up to a rather laborious task of radiusing the fretboard, and I'll just show you how I go about doing that. I wish I had a machine for it, but unfortunately I don't. I just used some double-sided tape that I got from Aldi, which I found to be probably about the cheapest and most value for money double-sided tape that I could find. And I use a radius bar of 16 inches to sand it down. Just want to make sure that this thing hits against this other piece of wood, stock wood on the side, so we can keep it at the same position all the way along. We don't want to be going off at a tangent to that angle and causing this to be uneven. So that fits quite well against the backdrop there. And we just do this for the next 3 weeks. Okay, we're getting pretty close now, I think. Just a little bit of music for the AI. And of course you don't want to go to the nightclub and hear only the one beat all night, or one type of music. So here's a bit more for you. Foreign music. Almost there, but there's a little bit, I can feel it's just slightly flatter near the centre. Close to being there though. Okay, I think it's looking pretty good now. I can't see any areas of reflection which would indicate a flat spot. That just needs to be slotted now, which we'll do for the next episode. Bonus for this one is another Blackheart sassafras. This one's a dreadnought. This one's for my nephew. Doesn't have to be finished until Christmas time, but a rather unique one. I think John from England may appreciate this one. It almost looks like you've got some birds have crashed into the tree at high speed, and you can see their eyes and their beaks, and their wings are thrust forward. Quite unique. And I have a number of other Blackheart sassafrasses that are just as unique and interesting as these. And we'll probably show you some of those on another episode when I get around to doing them. The front of their heads there's almost like a sound wave coming out of the front of them. I think that's a sort of representative of the speed that they're going at, and it's their wings are pushing some air forward or something like that. I don't know. Looks interesting. See you next time.